There's a new book coming up to the market, Reimagining Customer Success, and it's for actually not just CSMs. The book is actually designed for CEOs to reimagine how their organizations should change and transform to embrace customer success methodologies, not just in building a customer success function, but throughout the organization for with marketing and sales and other functions in the organization. Hey guys, Erin Ezips here for CSM Practice, the Customer Success Strategy Consulting firm. Today I have the author, Sasi Yajamanyam, who wrote the book, and it is being released in August of 2021. So check out the link below for the Amazon link so you can get the book ASAP. I'm really happy to have Sasi here with me today to just talk about the book, what inspired him to write it, what is the model that he created and based it on. So just to help CEOs and other leaders within the organization to really move the entire organization towards customer value, because we have so much methodology already for customer success. How do we shift the entire organization around that? Sasi, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Before we start, I'd like to remind everyone, subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the great videos that we produce on customer success.
Customer success executives needs to get out of their heads around what are they going to do with their department and really think about what are they going to do to infuse customer success throughout the organization, what value they're bringing to other departments. And I think this book is going to talk about that.
That's exactly right. The way I position the book is we know how customer success as we know it today, how it came, evolution of SaaS business and all of that. And we realized, we need to have retention focus and all of that. In the introduction, I lay out a lot of my thesis on how I arrived at this. I kind of elevated whole customer success. And what I'm saying is, if we think of the major economic shifts going back last 100 years. If you think about industrial age, the way of life kind of changed because of manufacturing and all of that. What it gave rise to is a focus on how we run organizations around quality. Quality became everybody's job. Same if we fast forward to like 80s, 90s, it was all about process automation. There, the focus became kind of how do you re-engineer processes? How do you get efficiencies? So process engineering and disciplines like Six Sigma became the defining management principle of focus on automation process. My belief is in the what I call it digital age, or the World Economic Forum calls it the fourth industrial revolution, which is data and mobile and all of this AI. The fundamental shift that is taking place there is the nature of relationship between a provider of technology solutions and the consumer or the customer is really different. It's not transactional anymore, but it is the expectations are different. And to respond to that, we need a new way of organizing our companies and how we run our companies. And my thesis is customer success, if we define it and set it up right, could be that defining management principle for this digital age. It's a little more aspirational, but I wanted to start off there so we can get out of the functional way of thinking. And it's a tough balance. Optimizing the customer success function is that in itself is a work in progress. That job is not done. There's a lot of effort being put by a lot of folks to build best in class customer success functions, which is almost the here and now problem that we have to solve. But if we look out 2, 3, 5 years, hopefully we would have solved this problem. But what we should be thinking about is how do we make customer success everyone's job? What does it take? To be fair, a lot of leaders, customer success leaders, even CEOs, I did a quick informal research. I picked top 20 companies, the biggest companies, fastest growing companies. And I said, what do they say about customer success? There were a few exceptions. Almost every one of them has customer success as one of their core values of the company. Customer success is my success, or we are here to delight customers, or in various shapes or forms. Customer success is embedded in the identity of the organizations. So I think they all mean it well, but my theory is they don't quite know exactly what to do. What I know intuitively as a leader how do I activate it across the organization? They don't know. And my attempt is to present a model that will help to kind of change org structures or change how we kind of go to market and how to activate that mindset. That's the story arc of my book.
How did you structure the book to make it consumable for your readers?
I have three parts in the book. Part one is just setting up the problem. What's the current state of customer success? I call that chapter, it's a state of confusion and complexity in some sense, because a lot of questions around where do I report to? What should be my scope of responsibility? What tools do I use? All of that. And then I say, that's all great, but really to make this customer success everyone's job, that is not enough to answer those questions. We need a new model. And I introduce a new model in the first part. The model has like 8 different elements to it. The summary is for us to make customer success everyone's job. There are a few things we have to rethink in the customer context and get to a common understanding around these 3 things, around defining customer, understanding what success means, and really documenting that in a value language that we all can use. And then we need to do some stuff in the company context around thinking about our approach to helping customers get to success. What it takes is a portfolio of services that we need to define, not just one-off things. So it's more unified approach. And then we could figure out how to deliver them across different channels. And we also need to look at what changes we need to make to incentives and processes. That all generates a lot of information and data about customers, where I feel like we are in the very early stages of having this unified customer data. There's a lot of marketing that gets done by a lot of companies, which says customer 360 and all of that. But I think it's in the very, very early stages is my proposition. And I have some examples on what do I mean by unified customer data. What the data allows is really for us to engage our customers in a new in kind way, not in a very siloed fashion. I have some examples where some companies are building this next generation of engagement platforms. They could be CS platforms on steroids. Engagement could happen within the product. There are a couple of examples I give where this kind of engagement is happening in product. Those 8 things come together, what I call this new model. The way I think the advantage of this 8 is even though they are numbered, you don't have to do them in that sequence. This could be your prioritization activity. You could use these 8. You could have a conversation with the CFO and say, hey, which of these things are priority and let's invest in those.
I love how you put platform and data at the center. It's really the backbone of scaling and getting more sophisticated with our initiatives. Really, literally, you can almost build some sort of a model where you can assess where your strengths are. How well did you score on company-related context versus customer-related context? If you're heavy on the customer context, your priority might be to balance things out with some more company context.
You're hitting on all the right points. The middle part of the book, the part 2, which is the biggest part, is a chapter for each of these parts of model. Then the third part is, if this is the model I'm proposing, what's the implication of that to different leaders in the company? What changes should a CCO make? Should a chief sales officer make? Should a chief marketing officer make? And a chief product officer make? What kind of people, process, technology changes should they make? How do you hire different in-kind skills? How do you train your teams? How do you invest in different kind of systems? How do you design processes that kind of result in more of this common mindset than your own siloed process? That's kind of how I have structured the book.
It almost sounds like the book is going to be a great read for any CEO that tries to embrace customer success and wants to make it an impactful methodology cross-functionally instead of just thinking about setting up a customer success function.
You're exactly right. In my introduction, I have a small section on who should read this book. It's really the leaders of the organization who intuitively know that customer success has to be embedded in every part of the organization, but the default behavior becomes like, I'm going to build the best silo I could build. So you're right, the CEOs and their direct reports are probably the prime audience for this book.
All right, guys, hopefully you found this video helpful. Check out the links below to get the book, and I'll see you at the next video.